what was the on second thought that led you to make changes in your life?
And we were up-leveling our life, and I wanted to divorce my husband, but I want to maintain my lifestyle. So I need a side hustle. I know how much he brings home every month. I know how much it costs to run our family. I need to go out and figure out how to supplement that so I can divorce him and continue this lifestyle.
And also, by the way, you've remained married. You are still together.
We're still together, yep. All of it's because I was chasing the external reward. I wasn't starting internally to look at what are the beliefs that are running? What is my purpose?
Welcome to On Second Thought with me, Jackie Pfeiffer, a podcast for ambitious women and mothers who built a life doing everything right and are now questioning whether it's actually the life they want to keep living. Maybe nothing is wrong. You're not unhappy, burned out, or falling apart. You're grateful for what you've built, but still honest enough to admit you may want something else. This show gives you permission to question your life, get clear on what you want next, and explore a different direction without blowing up everything you've built. Because sometimes creating the life you want starts with one honest realization. On second thought, I want something different.
Okay. So welcome, Melanie, to the On Second Thought podcast. So excited to have you.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here, Jackie. Thank you for reaching out and asking me to be a part of this. I'm always genuinely amazed. I'm people care what I want to say, or want to hear what I have to say. So
I know.
It's always great. And the more, I love it. Just the more that I can share this types of information, the more that I know that I'm on my soul pull and I'm fulfilling my mission. So thank you for
Yes. Yes. And I feel like you've been on your journey a little bit longer than I have in terms of presence on social media, building the programs and the business that you're building on the side. But so I want to tell everybody why I wanted to have you on. So the first I can't remember the first reel that I saw you post that pulled me in, but I'm pretty sure it was one about been in corporate forever, killing it, gotten promoted. It's the societal norms of I've done all the things, right, to get here, and I finally am realizing that I'm meant to do something different or additive to my life. And I think that a lot of these the conversations that I'm having are about women, mostly career women, working women and working moms who are realizing that they can change their mind about things, that they can decide that they want something else for their life. And I loved your approach. I loved the way that you speak to people, your articulation, the intuitive guidance that you are bringing into um, what everybody lives, this practical world that everybody is living in is it's a breath of fresh air for someone like me, because I don't we've talked about this a little bit, I don't consider myself super woo woo, but I really do believe that these practices matter and are very important to the holistic self. And so yeah, I'm so happy that you're here and I can't wait to dig in.
Yay. Well, thank you for all
Yay.
those kind. I'm really excited.
Yes, yes. And I'm of the belief. So the other part of this, the reason for me doing all of this is I am here, one of the bigger purposes for me is to build a community of people that are like me, that are interested in doing something different, learning new things, all of the things, right? And I don't know, I just was kind of drawn to you. And I think that I'm excited to continue to build new relationships with people. So that's also part of this. So
Yes. Relationships are very important. It's always my brother. I have two brothers, and one of my middle brother. He's a classic middle child, and there was this. He always gave me little nuggets of advice, but the one thing that always stuck with me was it's not about what you know, but who you know, and that always resonated with me, and building relationships and keeping things that I can't tell you how many times I've had to, go back to a relationship or burn to bridge and been oh shoot, I shouldn't have done that, and just
mhm.
the importance of maintaining relationships and just how perfectly timed they can enter into your life or even come back into your life.
100% agree. Yeah, it's huge for me. I'm going to do a whole episode on relationships at some point because it has been critical to my life. Okay. So First thing I like to do is a rapid fire, like 3 questions. If you can answer in 1 sentence, that would be great. If you want to elaborate more, fine. All
Okay,
right. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Cool. Okay. When you think about ambitious women who have built the career, check the boxes, and still feel like something's a little off, what do you think that they're usually craving the most?
They're craving internal validation. They have been taught to seek external validation to make themselves feel whole internally, but it actually starts from the inside. And once you fill yourself internally, then the external rewards begin to flow your way.
We're going to have to talk about in this conversation how people can do
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's one sign a woman may be hearing her intuition, even if she is trying to talk herself out of it?
Reflections, they are your best friends, even though they may feel like they're your worst enemy. They're the things that keep the loops that keep showing up in your life. They don't keep showing up in your life because they're broken. They're showing up because they're data, they're messages from your higher self, from your intuition telling you where you're out of balance and you need to make some shifts.
What is one thing women should give themselves permission to question more often?
Everything, everything that you've ever been taught by society, I would question it. Like, do you really need to go to school and get a 4-year degree? Do you really need to go work in corporate? Do you really need to do all of this? Or is it maybe designed to keep you in line under a control that keeps you small and contained?
Who do you think's trying to keep us small?
I think that there are larger powers at play here that might be for a whole other episode. But just there things are never as they seem. And I think that there's a lot of things coming to light lately, with like you get like the Epstein files
Mhm.
and like hearing about, certain politicians. And I would say that the person who is the loudest is that's pointing out all of the flaws about another person. I would question, why are they telling me everything that's wrong with the other person? And I then in turn look to say, okay, well, what are you trying to hide? Why are you telling me not to look to the right and to look to the left instead? What's really happening on the right that
Mhm.
we need to pay attention to?
Mhm. Mhm. Mm.
That's intuition can really be your best friend in these
Yep.
interesting times that we're coming into.
Tell me, how do you so for someone who's not really familiar with this concept of intuitive coaching and it just like using your intuition, like how do you describe it to people when you're talking to them about the work that you do and all that?
Everyone has intuition and everyone has the ability to train it. Some people have more of a gift than others. I would think about it like basketball, right? Everyone can go out and play basketball. Are we all going to be Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan and LeBron James? Probably not. But we could all go down to the little playground and pick up a basketball and shoot it around, right? And the more that you train in there, the better of an athlete that you would become. And the same thing with intuition. The more that you train and you learn the different types of techniques and the I guess the stronger trust that you get, that when you hear those things or you feel those things or you get those nudges, those pulls, you then know this is my intuition speaking to me. And you learn how to dive a little deeper and follow a vein and not necessarily confirm the information, but really get to the root of the answer. And so that's what that's what I teach in my programs is how to start that like intuition training program,
Mhm.
right? Like how to train that muscle. There's so many steps that go in play and not that it's like overwhelming, but again, thinking about basketball, like you gotta learn to dribble, you gotta learn to pass, you gotta learn to do the layup, you gotta learn your shooting technique, how to shoot three throws, how to shoot three pointers, right? How to defend. There's all kinds of different elements of playing basketball, and the same thing's true for intuition.
Mm. What's an example of an element that would be included in like in that? Like a
So
yeah, like technique of shooting is equal to like a what element of intuition?
you should always, whenever you are intentionally intuiting information from your higher self or from your creator field, thought field, your soul field, you want to make sure that you have first practiced your energetic hygiene or regulated your nervous system. And so that looks like, so throughout the day, even as you and I are filming this podcast, we are exchanging energy. And this podcast will be broadcasted out, and there will be energies flowing into this podcast. And you'll go out, you're going to go to the grocery store, you're going to get on another call. I'm going to respond to emails, I'm going to post something on social media. Energy is constantly interacting. And so we take that energy on and we give out parts of our energy as well. So, what I coach my students to do is daily energy recoveries and even doing it multiple times throughout the day, where you are taking all of the energy that you've taken on from someone else, you're taking that out of your body. And then you're pulling out all of the energy that you have given out to other people. And you're cleaning it, you're clearing it, you're restoring it, you're connecting it to source, you're connecting it to the earth, you're sending back their energy and you're bringing it into you. So then you are lighter. And the lighter you are, the more connected to source, which source, God,
Mm.
divine, right? Whatever,
Mhm.
however you want to define that entity. I, especially when I'm channeling or reading people, I refer to that entity as source, the
Mhm.
creator of all, right? And it's the source of everything.
Mm.
And so the lighter I am, the brighter I shine, the closer to source I can become.
Mhm. And that was kind of what you were saying to me earlier about my interaction with my daughter this morning is like she was taking on some sort of energy that I was giving off, even, and I don't even think I'm giving off a bad or negative or unhinged energy, but like there's something that's coming out that I'm not aware of.
Right. Or there's somewhere where that your energy is out of balance. So, the really interesting things about children is that up until the age of about it's anywhere between 11 to 13, it really varies on the child, but the child is taking on the beliefs of everyone around them. Their creator field hasn't formed yet, and your creator field is essentially like consider it like a movie reel, and it's just like projecting out the video that everyone that you interact with is supposed to play back to you.
Mhm.
The script. Sorry, it's like the script, and it's like everyone just plays back the script of your belief system.
Yep.
And so somewhere in your creator field, you are broadcasting out, and your daughter, because she doesn't have her own creator field, she's picking up on you on that, and she's carrying that with her. And so many times children carry on that belief of their parents generation after generation after
Mhm.
right. And you talk about like breaking the generational curse. That's how that is formed. And so I know this is something, and we talked about this earlier, but it's something that just truly transformed how I interact with my children because whatever they're losing their marbles, old Melanie would have been like, and Melanie 2 years ago would have been like, what are you doing? Like, get it together. Like pick out your outfit. We're gonna do this. But now I'm like, okay, this is telling me somewhere I have a hole in my creator field, something that I'm out of balance on. So where is my gap? Where do I need to shift? Right. And then that's where I use intuition to tap into my creator field and say, okay, like what is the belief that's running here? What is
Mm.
really happening? Let's decode this reflection and what do I need to do in the moment to shift it? And I mean, I do this within like 5 to 10 seconds. That's the level that I'm at with my intuition. I can really quickly shift this and then they calm down, where we talk it out, we take some deep breaths and as I shift, I see them shift.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a really cool phenomenon to watch,
Mm, it
especially
is. It
children.
is. I mean, like Dr. Becky at Good Inside is always talking about how, like, when your child goes like up here, just like you need to stay down here, and like they're in their red brain, they need to be able to settle before like you yelling at them is not going to help. And like, that's just like not, it's just not something I'm used to. It's really hard. So
Yeah.
anyway, okay.
Oh, I have a super cool technique you can
Yeah.
take in. So I call it the red sphere. And so you can, if you just set the intent to like put the red sphere in front of your child, and you can even, if your emotions are high, you can say that it's in front of you too. And just picture the red sphere like in the middle is a knob, like a volume knob, and set the intent that like the red sphere is your emotion. It's like everything that you're feeling. And set the intent to turn the knob. And as you turn it down, the red sphere gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And as you're doing that, you're literally the levels of your emotions are coming down. And if you're like, I'm setting the intent and I believe that this knob is going to turn down my emotions and I'm going to turn down the emotions of my child, turn that down. And it's amazing. It's like you can literally feel your emotions coming down, and you're like, okay, I'm I'm maybe not at 0, but I was at 90 and now I'm at 30. So
Mm-hmm.
I maybe need to like go down a little bit more and get myself to a lower level. But I'm now at a level where I can breathe. I'm out of fight or flight. I can
Mm-hmm.
really start to think logically.
Yeah. That like visualization is
Mhm.
really useful. Yeah. Okay. So, I do want to kind of walk back a little bit to the beginning of your story in terms of, we can we'll get into the practicals, like, or the how people can use their intuition and your program and all of that stuff. But I want to understand before you started building your side hustle. Let's go back to what your life looked like from the outside and like what you had built that you were proud of, outside of your new business and all that?
My husband and I, we got married. We instantly started having kids. I mean, I literally was pregnant for like five straight years. We had 3 kids. They're all very close in age. And the crazy thing was that, like, throughout having kids, I just kept getting like promoted and promoted and promoted. And like, I was on that like fast track. And kind of same thing with my husband. He has a very like high visibility job that he does. He works with professional golfers. And
Oh.
so we were getting a lot of visibility, right? In our lifestyles growing up. And um, we made the decision to really upgrade our lives. And we moved into this very affluent neighborhood and joined a country club. And like, I remember the moment of being like we made it. And I remember like one of the mover guys who was like helping us move. He's like, dang girl, you upgraded. And I was like, yeah, I'm like the Jeffersons, just moving on up. Uh, but then it really quickly, like, it really quickly became loud that the reason why we upgraded that lifestyle was essentially to fill some type of external validation, right? And that the way society has taught us that what success looks like. It's by the size of your house, your country club membership, the cars you drive, the people that you surround yourself by, right? Like how you dress, the handbag you carry,
Mhm.
how glossy your skin looks, and if your forehead doesn't move.
Hey, I like my forehead not moving, just to be clear.
Maybe we
But
could
yeah.
talk about energetic Botox some other time, but
Ooh, yeah. Ooh,
yes.
yes, absolutely. Okay.
But
Sorry.
it was through all of that, and I kept climbing, and I got all of the promotions that I was asking for, and I was getting them at like a very rapid pace. And I remember I had a mentor, and he was like, "Don't ever let them tell you that you have to like that time and seat matters." Like he was like, "It's just a control tactic."
It is.
And I took that and I ran with it. So if there was ever a time where they're like, "Well, you haven't been in this position long enough," I was like, "I know that's a lie, and you know that's a lie." And they were like, "Okay." And it just like everything just happened. And now looking back, now having all of the tools that I have now, I see all of the like bumps in the road that started to happen. Right. And I think I'm so, when I think about like how proud I am, I'm just proud that like now I can see what that was and that I have unconditional love for myself, to not beat myself up for everything that I did to get to that point, right? And looking back and really like and realizing like, oh, that that wasn't that was maybe not from the right place. Like everything I was doing was just to fulfill someone else's plan that
Yeah.
like society told me I needed to do. That like success looked this certain way.
Mhm.
So, I I mean I still have a country club membership and I still drive a nice car and I still do a lot of things, but like I can see now, like, just how perfect my life was designed through all of the chaos to bring me to this very moment. And I can see every single lesson that it taught me along the way and how it's preparing me for the next level of my of my fullest potential.
Mhm. And were you validated externally to like, did you feel as though the things that you felt like you were validating yourself with were also something that other people were recognizing? And did that make you feel good, or did that make you like, what how did that make you feel?
Well, it was just like an endorphin hit. It was just like an instant
Yeah.
high and then a crash,
Mhm.
right? Like I would get the promotion and I'd be like, "Oh, this is great." But then like we would do something to like up level our life and it'd be like, "Okay, well now I got to chase the next one."
Yeah.
Or it's like, "Oh, Sally has a new handbag. Like I want a new handbag. Like I got to keep up with it." Like it was very much a keeping up with the Joneses, right?
Mm.
And it was like every time like I needed to buy things or get a promotion or do all of these things, have a golf car, do list all of these materialistic things and that I thought would validate me and they would give me a hit, but then I would have a crash. I mean, it's very much like it's
Mhm. Yeah.
an
Totally.
addiction to like, external validation,
Yeah,
right?
it's the worst. It is the worst. Um, so what was the moment or what was the part of your life that started to feel heavy? Um, and like, what was the like on second thought that you had that led you to make changes in your life?
So there was a point around this was like 2022. And I again was just getting like promotion after promotion. We were up leveling our life. And I wanted to divorce my husband. And he knows this. And so but I didn't I'd kind of told him that. Like I was like, we're really struggling. And I thought it was him and I thought it was our relationship. Um and I was like, you know what? In a true person who is seeking external validation. I was like, I want to divorce him, but I want to maintain my lifestyle. And so if I'm going to do this, then I need a side hustle. I need some additional income. I know how much he brings home every month. I know how much it costs to run our family. So I need to go out and figure out how to supplement that so I can divorce him and continue this lifestyle. And
Mm.
so that's when I like, was like, oh, this is how I'm going to become an entrepreneur. And I went into network marketing, which I swore like I would never do. And I knew all of the like flaws of it. And I was like, I'm gonna get a business coach and I'm gonna learn all the social media and I'm gonna do ads and I'm gonna do all these things. Like I'm gonna be the best of the best at it. Well, I wasn't. I was not good at it. But then that's where I found out about course creation and like all of these people who were making courses online and selling them and, promoting this lifestyle. Like I make millions of dollars every year getting people
Mhm.
community and doing all this stuff. And I was like, well, I want to do that. I want to do that. And again, like being an intuitive and being able to sit back and span out and look over my lifetime and look at all of the major milestones that have led up to this point and then seeing the ones that are in my soul plan for the future, I see how it was all perfectly orchestrated. And I was not really aware of it. So like there
Yeah.
was a lot of like almost breaking points that I had to get to and turning points they had to bring me to this point where it was like, okay, finally, let's get Melanie where, like, let's get her aware and get her on the path, right? So that was really I mean, I was a lot of things, Jackie. Like I was a business coach. I was like, "You're a business coach, Mel." And I was a lead generation specialist, although I could like barely generate leads myself. And
It's so hard. Marketing is
it
really
is,
hard.
it
Yeah.
is, it is. It is, but it isn't. Like, it's all like a belief, right? And then
Mhm.
it was like, I was a mindset and manifestation coach, and I was like, oh, I've manifested all of these things. But then, like, quietly, I would like think to myself, like, why can't I manifest the business that I want? And why can't I manifest my ability to quit my 9 to 5 or to make as much money as I need to divorce my husband and continue my lifestyle? But like, all of it's because I was chasing the like external reward. I
Mhm.
wasn't I wasn't starting internally to look at like, okay, well, what are the beliefs that are running? What is truly the lessons that my soul desires to learn in this lifetime? Like what is my impact that I'm supposed to provide to the world?
Mhm.
What is my purpose?
Mhm.
And I think that's really it was through that like really that discovery that I started to learn like, oh, okay, like things started to click a little bit more for
Mhm. Mhm.
that journey.
Yeah. And when you say you're an intuitive, like, it like, how is that different or similar to a medium or a psychic, or how does that like, what's the spectrum of that?
So I would even kind of go back to the basketball example.
Mhm. Sure.
The and it, so a psychic and a medium, they typically are only reading certain fields. So we have within our electromagnetic field, we have different layers. And so psychics typically are reading the thought field. And they're most likely not formally trained. So they are like, oh, I can read, I can see the future, and I can, and in some aspects they can, but they're not intentionally going to the correct field to pull information from. They're naturally gifted. Yes, they are those, they're those kind of potential Kobe Bryant, right? They're
Mhm.
like happens when you like go on the you like see some kid playing on like a pick me up or pickup game and you're like, dang, that kid's really good. He could
Mhm.
play. But he's like on the streets of,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, yeah.
near just playing basketball at the public court. So that's kind of like what a psychic is. And then a medium is someone who they're really connected to the soul and spirit fields. So they're able to communicate very clearly with spirits. And the thing about spirits is that if you are not formally trained to be a medium, you sometimes can intercept the person who's coming for your services. So like let's say Jackie, you were like, I want to talk to my my grandmother who passed away, and you're asking me to, call on your grandmother. Well, most likely, what I would be if I was not formally trained, I would be picking up on your thought fields about your grandmother. So I could be like, oh, your grandmother says, that she loves your favorite, you have still have your blanket and that, she remembers it. And you were like, oh my gosh, how did you know that? It's like, oh, because I can see the blanket. It's like, no, they can't really see the blanket. They just are reading your thought field.
Mm.
And then the thing about spirits is spirits actually, they're only, they can stay on earth for a little bit longer, but most likely spirits are crossing over fully after like 3 to 6 months of
Mm.
their physical body passing. And that's because their soul is getting ready to prepare for their next lifetime. So they're connecting with their next higher self. They're talking with source. We got all of these lessons from this lifetime. These are all the ones I need to do for this one. We need to be with these parents. We need to live in this location. These are all the
Wow.
people we need to come in contact with. So that's kind of different. But now as an intuitive, what I can do is I know how to tap into all those different fields and to communicate with all of those different layers and how to intentionally ask the right statements and to call on the right information and know what to do with each of those layers. So when I know that if I want to go look at future events, I know that that's not going to be in your thought field, right? That's really just where like your human desires are and like just your immediate thoughts. I need to go to your higher self
Right.
and I need to look at your soul plans to see like what is in the plan for this lifetime. Is it
Mm.
even possible? Like, is it even in the plan? And if it's not in the plan, what do we have to do to negotiate that it is in the plan?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like, again, it's like you are the Kobe Bryant or the Michael Jordan of that type of ability to channel and read
Mm.
information, energy.
And do you feel like you kind of naturally had this and then you kind of trained yourself, like you said, like you just have practiced it and trained it more. And so your skills have evolved and the neuroscience behind it is there, or like, is it a mix of both?
I mean, there's always been times where throughout my life where I'm like, oh, I'm like, huh, like I knew that was going to happen, but I was never, I don't know, I was never one that was just like, I didn't see things as a child. Like a lot of people that I trained
Mhm.
with were like, oh, I would see things. Like my daughter sees things. Like she's drawn things for me. And I'm like,
Oh, wow.
know exactly what that is. Like, we need to take care of this immediately. And so like people could I never saw things
Hmm.
and that's okay. And so it was like but there was always things that were put in front of me that I see now that were like they were nudges, right? And so it was
Mhm.
I finally got a nudge and grabbed onto it and I ran with it.
Mhm.
And that was when I got connected with my mentor that I trained with, and I just went all in.
Mhm.
And it was just an intense year of just like I just kind of pumped the brakes on my business and whatever it was, whatever pivot I was in at the moment.
Yeah.
And I went all in on learning everything I could about intuition, about dark forces, about self image, about emotional mastery, about how to be an effective communicator, like pulling in all of that information and then like immediately practicing it. And then towards the end of the year, that's when I was like, okay, I'm ready to take this and turn it into sellable work. Right.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's when I really came out and started rebranding myself and relaunched myself as an intuitive guide.
I love it. I love it so much. So when you just said you had like a nudge, I was going to ask you specifically, like, what was the moment where you realized this was more than just like a passing thought and you really wanted to dive into it? What happened?
So it was actually, I love the Manifestation Babe, Catherine Zakina, and I was listening to one of her podcasts. And so my mentor, her name is Allie Nympho Peters. She just got married, but she's Allie Nympho. And so
Mhm.
I had never heard of her. And it was like a 3-part podcast. And I remember I was traveling to Mexico for work and I had like downloaded the podcast and was listening. And I was just like entranced. And the thing that got me was she was talking about dark forces. And she was explaining about like the dark elite and how the control that they have over society and how we're being manipulated. And I was like, I want to know, and this is fascinating. Like, I want to
Mhm.
know everything about it. And so then I like started listening to her podcast. And I remember the very first podcast of Allie's that I listened to, the like disclaimer that she opens it with is if this is your first podcast of mine that you're listening to, go listen to another one first. Like, don't let this be your first one. And I was like, bet. Like,
Wow.
and I jumped right in. I was like, I love this. And so I really just binged all of the podcasts because I was commuting so far from work every day. I was like in
Mhm.
the car for over 2 hours every day. And so
Yikes.
yeah, I mean, I would listen to like 2 podcasts a day. And so I just was caught up really quick. And then I bought her intuition, her like first intuition, like prerequisite course. And then the rest
Mhm.
three.
Wow. And are you still working with her today?
I have not, I'm kind of I've capped out with her. Like at
Yeah,
her
you're on
first,
your own. You're like her now.
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. But I've switched to start training with her mentor that she trained with. So he offers more, just higher level mastery of intuition. And so that's where I'm at, right? So I'm in this, I have this solid advanced mastery foundation, but like I needed to like keep elevating it. And so
Hmm.
that's where I'm at. It's kind of like, okay, it's mentoring with more of an ascended master
Yeah. Yeah.
position.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the moment that, or the decision that you and your husband came to sell your house. We talked a little bit about this in our first chat because that feels like a very big, like on second thought moment. And like you talking about the decision to chase the intuitive coaching and being an intuitive guide is one side of it. But like, where did this decision to sell your house and kind of downscale your
Mhm.
your material things, like, how did that happen?
So it really came from me healing my self image. And when I say self image, I just want to clarify that that's not like my physical
Yeah.
appearance. It is my internal perception of myself and then how I believe other people perceive me. And when I really got the ability to dive into the beliefs that I had running about my worthiness, not being enough, not seeing my value, needing to be needing to, for success to be defined by someone else's terms, I immediately started shifting that. And I went on a massive self healing journey. As I was training my intuition in parallel, I was also healing my self-image wounds.
Were you in therapy?
No.
Oh, you were just doing it by yourself
Yeah, I was doing it through Allie's,
through that? Okay.
yeah, through Allie's courses and healing my self-image. It was such a transformative experience that I went on and I created my own self-image program. And it's called Unstoppable You. And we really break down what is self-image, how does it show up, right? What does a high self-image look like? What are the beliefs of someone with a high self-image? And we start to program that and we start to give it give the students the tools to be able to say, okay, everything that's happening in life is not happening to me, it's happening for me. So, how do I take these tools and start to decode all of the information that's happening around me? And something that a lot of us in our community and whether it's in Allie's community or in my community or my new mentor Al, like in his community, we always it's like, well, which one do you do first? Do you train your intuition or do you heal your self-image?
Mhm.
And I think it's case by case basis, but you definitely need to do them almost in parallel or it's not one after the other. One probably kickstarts first, but you can't have one without the other because you
Mhm.
really do need your intuition to be able to look in to understand, okay, why do these things keep happening to me? What are the beliefs that are running? What is the new belief that I need to have? And then being able to like clock it and shift it in real time. And that different levels of energy work and knowing how to ask the right questions of the right energy fields is so key.
Hmm. It's interesting. I don't know how to do that.
That's okay. Well, you can
Go through
join it.
your course. Yes. I do actually I wanna do like a little bit of an experiment, like we were doing with me earlier with my kid situation. I would like to do a little bit of an experiment here for people to kind of hear and see how you help others process through your courses. But so you decided to sell the house because you finally healed your self-image, and
Mhm.
obviously your husband was on board with that. And also, by the way, you've remained married, right?
It's-
And
We
yes,
are
you
still
are still together.
we're still together. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So you healed yourself, you healed your self-image, and you created that internal validation that you needed to be able to move forward. You started your intuitive guide process, you sold your house, and you've kept your job as well, like full-time
Mhm.
job
Yeah.
on like, yeah. How, like, what has kept you sane during all of this over the last few years that you've been working through it?
It's my energy work. I full-heartedly believe it's really again doing that daily energy recovery. There's also other energy work, and then learning about dark forces, which that could be a whole, like I said, that could be a whole separate episode. But it's
We gotta
very
do well, we should do, like, a series of, like, dig into each of the different things. That would be
yes.
fun.
But dark forces, they're, I mean, it's essentially dark energy that latches onto you. And each different entity has a different symptom or side effect, if you will. But, anxiety, anger, self doubt, dread. Like if you think you have ADHD, you really don't. You just have this dark entity on you. And so learning how to clear that off of you in real time, and the relief that you feel when you are clearing it, you're like, "Oh my gosh, like
Mm,
what has happened?" And so being able to recognize that and clear myself, and then again, calling back all of the missing pieces of my chakra and repairing my aura every day and opening my heart up 100%.
mhm.
Like, you don't know it, but before we got on this call, I opened your heart and then I created a hologram and courted all of the future listeners into the hologram, and I opened their hearts, right? So that when they're listening to this information, they are just a little bit more, they might be triggered or somewhat emotional, but they're just a little bit more open to the perspective of it. And so taking that
Love
approach
this.
and then doing energy boosts on myself just to really get into every cell of my body. And that is really helped. It helps with my skin, it helps with my hair. Like I haven't had Botox in 3.5 years.
Mm,
I
wow.
it's it I mean, I can move it, but like I know when
Yeah.
I know when I have self-doubt, or I know when I'm letting other people's opinions of me influence, because I'll see my forehead wrinkles and I'll be like, "Oh shoot, I gotta get up
Oh
on
my
that."
gosh. Okay, this is incredibly interesting. Um, well, I think from your story and the arc of your life over the last few years is really interesting, and I think it shows how, your intuition is a kind of it helps you create decisions in a more, like, slow and intentional way versus, like, some dramatic
Mhm,
leap, and I think that's really, really important. I Okay, before we get into, like, actionable tips, because I have a lot of things that I wanna ask and dig into a little bit deeper to get people to understand how to do this, in their way, and also, like, what resources that they can leverage to get there, but let's do a little experiment on me, okay? So, like, you've said a few times, like, you've said different things that are things that I do or that I feel, right? Like, I was diagnosed with ADHD last year. I've been taking Adderall for the last year. I have had anxiety and depression since I was 22. I don't know. I could go on and on and on, right? But when I tell you those things and when you feel my energy from our conversations, like, what does that tell you? And what are the things that I need to be doing differently or thinking about differently to either get off of my medication or whatever it might be. This is where my learning curve on this is very, very little. I mean, it's very large is the
mhm.
learning curve.
So this is exactly what we would do in a private session. So like when I come into a private session with a client, before I even get on the call, like I'm doing a full scan of them. And what I mean by that is I am tapping into their higher self, and I'm like, what do we want to get out of this session? What do we want, what's this next level that you are calling them to step into that maybe they're not seeing or fully recognizing? And what are some of their soul gifts that they're going to need to leverage in this next version of them? And what is this next level soul pull that you're trying to get their attention on? And then I'm also looking at your creator field and what beliefs are running in your creator field, and I'm scanning you for dark forces. So you, like specifically, you have two main dark forces on you, and one of them in particular, you have multiple on you. So I would clear those for you. And depending upon kind of where we were in our engagement and if we needed to do one or multiple episode or sessions together, I would do those with you on the call and walk you through how to do those step by step. And because I want you to know that when you have that fear and anxiety and you have that like just that overwhelming anxiety hit you, that's because you have a transmortal on you. And I need you to be able to recognize that. And instead of reaching for your medication, I need you to reach for the steps to clear that transmortal and see if that takes care of your symptoms.
What is a transmortal?
So a transmortal is a dark entity. It's kind of like a level 4. It's not the worst, but it's not
Not
uh
great.
yeah, it's not good. And transmortal, they kind of look like they're like almost like hairy purple people eaters. So weird.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
they're not cool. You don't have to visualize them. You don't have to see them if you don't want to. I'm a glutton for punishment and like, oh my God, I want to know everything about them. But
Yeah.
what they do is when they cord into you, and they're not, again, they're not like real,
Right.
I guess like 3D images like what you would think. It's energy and they're
Mhm.
from different realms, right? There's different realms that make up the universe and all of the matter and energy. And what they do is they essentially see this big light bright, like you remember the light bright you put
Mhm.
kid. And on the light bright is a whole bunch of light. And depending upon your frequency, your soul's frequency that you have, you either shine really bright or you're just kind of the dim light. And these dark entities, specifically a transmortal, sees a really, really bright light and they're like, I'm going to go hoard into that because it's food, right?
Mhm.
It feeds off of your light and gives it energy. And so whenever you're feeling that anxiety, like that increased levels of anxiety, it's because it's corded into you and it's like essentially like sucking your energy and sucking your
Mhm.
life out. Or your light. Sorry, not your life, your light.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Maybe a little bit of both. And so it does because it's ported into you, it has the ability to like really be on you and then jump off and go away. And then go port into someone else and jump on them and get light from them. So what we do is we take there's a whole process and we remove the cords. We totally, excuse my language, but we just like fuck them up and we send them away and we take away all of their powers. And we do that for all of the other types of dark entities. There's like
Mm.
6 in total.
And I have 2 on me, and one of them is multiple.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. We
And then
should
your
do
other,
more of this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then, but then I would look at your creator field. So really those dark forces, that's gonna reduce your light, which when you're reducing your light, that is gonna steer you off of your soul pull. And ultimately, your soul wants you to be on your soul pull because that's where all of your purpose and all of your mission, everything that you're supposed to do in life is on your
Right.
soul pull. Okay. And so I'm looking at, okay, well, you have those on you. So I know that that's decreasing your connection to your soul pull or like your ability to follow that. And then I'm looking at like the beliefs that are running in your creator field. And so some of the beliefs, let me just take a quick minute because I want to get like your
Mm.
exact ones, which I know we had talked about earlier was that you have to fit.
Mhm.
Success is a mold that you have to fit into. That like if you want to be successful, it's a mold that was already predetermined for you.
Mhm.
And that the thing is that belief formed when you were like 5 years old.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I see you like on stage. It's like you're like almost like a kindergarten or like something, some type of performance. And it was like, this is what the performance needs to look like. Like you have to do this, this, and this. Like this is the script. This is what you sing. Like we're gonna be perfect. And you were like, to be successful, I have to follow the rules. It has
Mhm.
to look like this. And the thing is that like your mission, you have so much impact in your soul plan. Like, let's see, let's get the numbers. You have like, you're meant to impact like over 100 million people. And like, I don't want that to overwhelm you, but I want that to like light you up. Right.
Mhm.
And some of your soul gifts, I think you're probably already really aware of them. Right. But it is your communication and your ability it's like the connection
Yeah.
piece. Right. And it's also the like raw and authentic connection that you can make with people, like how you can meet people exactly where they're at and help them see their potential.
Mhm.
Like you and I have very similar, which is probably why we mesh so well.
Yeah.
We have very similar soul pools in a sense that like one of your biggest gifts is to help people uncover what their fullest potential is. Like you help them discover that in themselves, which is a little bit different than mine. But like you have this communication capability to really get into people and to like spark something where they're like, yes, yes,
Mm.
it all makes sense now. Like I can do this. And you're not telling them how to do it. You're just instilling the belief in them that they have a fullest potential and that they're capable of going to do it. But what's preventing you from getting there are your current holes in your creator field. So like you currently don't believe that you possess that. Like how rooted you are to that belief. You're like 3% rooted to the belief that you could make an impact like that, which is okay. We want to find the low things. And so I know earlier
Wow.
I gave you an ingredient of what things about me set me apart from everything and everyone else. Like I would take that ingredient and then I would also give you what positive change do I bring to everyone's life that I come in contact with. That's a really, really powerful one. And then I would also do for you, I am the secret ingredient to what people need to transform their lives. And so you know, not another podcaster, not another person on social media. You. You are the secret sauce. It's Jackie, no one else. And there's enough secret sauce to go around for everyone, but it's your secret sauce that's going to change those people's lives. Right. And then we're going to micro moment and we're going to every single day connect to how you are all of the positive change that you bring, how you are the secret ingredient to transforming everyone's lives that you come in contact with.
Mhm.
Why what sets you apart from everything and everyone else. You are proving yourself through the little things of like, I went to Starbucks yesterday and got a coffee and the barista smiled at me. Like I made someone smile. Like I changed that barista's life like yesterday. That
It
little
is these micro moments. You're so right. It's like you need to acknowledge the micro moments to be able to build up the confidence to like see the macro things. And so this is so interesting. I'm going to take a devil's advocate
okay.
perspective. Okay. How do I know that you're not just telling everybody this, that like somebody is motivated and um, as dedicated to their craft and dedicated to their growth as I am, which you know this about me. You've seen my
Mhm.
content. We've talked. Like, how do I know you're not just talking to everybody that comes to you and saying the same thing? Like, oh, you're going to impact 1 million people and da 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 da. Like, how do I know that? Like, what makes me unique in the sense of like what you're telling me?
So that is my own personal creator field work that I do, that I root to the why I am the best of the best intuitive out there and how I am different, special, and unique, and how my intuition is always spot on. And
Hmm.
so I am broadcasting that what I'm telling you is truth. And because I wholeheartedly believe, whether I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs or not, I full heartedly believe the truth, right? I have trained myself. I have proof after proof, testimonial after testimonial that my intuition is always spot on,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And even in times where someone's like, "Oh, like, maybe I got it a little wrong," it's like, "Oh, it's because I asked it this way,
Mhm.
to have asked a follow-up question." So then it's like, "Okay, great. That was a great learning experience for me. I didn't derail them. I didn't, like, send them I wasn't sending them to
Yeah.
New York and they ended up in California. No, they were just,
Mhm.
took they took the wrong split, but we can just go right get back on the other one." Right?
Yeah.
So it is my rootedness to
Mhm.
my craft and my skill that is broadcasted out. And you can choose not to believe with it or not. But if you choose not to, that just means I'm not a match for you. That means that
Interesting.
that's just you're maybe we don't have a soul contract like that. Maybe it's just your soul and your human self are not ready to reach a level of consciousness that I
I
provide.
am. I am. Listen, I just listen what you were just saying to me is so it's actually really important to me that I have somebody in my life that is and I would assume that as a part of this work and like with the dark forces and the other side of this, which is like the development work of things that you need to work on.
Right.
That's the balance because it's not like, "Oh, you like, are gonna impact 100 million people, and you're gonna make billions of dollars, and da 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 da," and it's like, that sounds great, and that's what I want, obviously, that's the goal, but how to like, then it's what are the steps to get there? And yeah, and, but no, I like, listen, I'm playing devil's advocate for the people that I know are
Yeah.
listening and are like, is she just like buttering her up or something, you know? But I think that that's fascinating and I love it. And I really want to learn more about these little like slimy things that are crawling all over me.
They're no fun. But you know what? We get them. We know how to take care of them. And I think that's the biggest thing is like, I love giving people the tools to be able to do it. Right. Like,
Mhm.
you get to do this. And then I always wanted to like master manifestation. And
Mhm.
I was like, I want to figure it. And that I think that's why I came into this work and I just fell in love with it because it's not, there's so much, it's not that it's misinformation that's out there, but it's just not complete information.
100%.
And it's like, I feel like I really do have the playbook. And I feel like I have the playbook because it came from source, right? I have the ability to communicate directly to source and ask these questions. And like, that's what my mentors, that's how they get the information. And then, I mean, there's some things that you know, my mentor that she teaches that I kind of had resistance to. And so I went to source and asked more clarifying questions. And so I teach it a little bit differently. Right.
Right. Yeah, you have to have your own point of view and your own way of doing things for it to be so that you can be rooted in what you believe. So
Yeah,
like you can't because you're not just going to believe what other people believe, right?
exactly.
Um okay, that was really fun. I like
Good.
that. And I we should do a session. We should talk more about that. So for the woman listening who feels this same like quiet pull but really has no idea what to do with it, um, and for the woman who's having this second thought of like, my intuition's telling me something, I think I should start listening to it. Let's give her something that she can actually use. So, because again, like this is very conceptual, but I also want people to walk away knowing like how to start doing this in their own life. So, before someone follows their intuition, how do they build evidence that they can trust themselves?
So it comes through ingredients, it comes through reinforcing it. You've had beliefs that have been formed since you were a young child, right? Like your core beliefs are forming, but by the time you're between ages of 11 and 13, like your core beliefs are formed. You have a creator field, it's been solidified, and those are the beliefs that you're broadcasting. And you don't get tools like this to figure out how to like the neuroscience behind it of like how to create new beliefs and how to suffocate old ones. And it is through that like demonstration because your brain is just it's a prediction machine, right, wrong, and different of whatever beliefs you have programmed. It's literally just going through and being like, I got this belief, like,
Mhm.
I'm not smart enough. Like that was a belief that I had that like I'm not. I'm not smart enough. I'm not smart enough to do this job. I'm not smart enough to be your friend. I'm not smart enough to run a business. I'm not smart enough to be trusted and being a coach, right? And I know exactly the belief that that happened. I know that exact moment that I call it like the stone throw happened, and then all the ripples that that stone created throughout my life. And so I had to go back and suffocate that old belief and create a new one. And that's how the trust is formed. But it's, you really have to just, you have to make the decision. Like you have to be willing to take that
Mhm.
radical responsibility to do the really hard work of creating a whole new belief system. Like this work is not for, it is not for the weak, and it's not
Mhm.
for everyone. Like,
Mhm.
sure, the earth may want to like have a lot more high conscious, high frequency beings on it, but like we we all start out, we all start school as kindergartners, right?
Mhm.
And so, and you don't go unless you're Doogie Howser. Like, you don't go from kindergarten to a senior in high school. You have to go through all of the grades and you have to learn all of the lessons and learn all the skills, right? So everyone's at a different journey. It's just what grade are you in and where are you, and are you ready to take that radical responsibility?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like generally the case for almost anything. It's like, are you willing to receive what's being given to you? Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to try something new on for size? Like,
Mhm.
and I guess like I have like different like a different different beliefs on this in the sense of there are people that don't even know that they're not trying, and then there are people that know that they're actively not trying, and, like, those
Mhm.
people, like, if you're actively not trying and you know that, like, obviously this work isn't for you, or any work where you have to be willing is not really for you.
Mhm.
But if you don't even know that you're not trying, or you don't even know that, like, there are these things out there, and I think this is one of my reasons for wanting to start a podcast is, like, I wouldn't say that I was, like, sheltered growing up, but I definitely felt like I was missing out on some level of like integration into the world in a way that I want to be and that I am trying to be now.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of things that I didn't know existed, and like and I didn't know that I could do something that everybody else around me like was like obviously they knew they could do those things.
Mhm.
And so I'm just wondering for those people that are like they don't even know that they are willing. How do we get them to understand that they can be willing, or like that there is a way for them to engage in this work, and like what is the mindset shift that they need to make?
I mean, I think it's just right, the saying like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, like can't make it drink the water, right? It's learning to follow the pull, right? If
Mhm.
you have something, I like, to any listener out there, if you have that thing that keeps showing up and you keep like, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it. My question would be, why not?
Mhm.
Like, why not? Why not? And if you think because it's too hard or everyone else does it, or that's because those are the beliefs that you've been programmed with your entire life to keep you small. And so
Mhm.
my follow-up question to them would be, are you done playing small? And if you're not, that's okay. That is okay. That is a lesson in self-love, and
Yeah.
not like bubble baths and spa
Mhm.
days, self-love and self-care, but loving yourself unconditionally to know that your path, and you were created perfectly, not flawlessly perfect, but your life was perfectly designed to get you everything that you need out of it. And if this isn't for you, then that's okay. Like,
Mhm.
that's okay. And I've learned painfully that you cannot force this on people. They have to want it.
Yep.
And that that's why I always make myself available. I know that if I embody this energy and if I embody this belief, the way I have programmed my creator field, just being in my presence, that energy will seep into you.
Mhm.
Whatever the dominant belief is, that's what seeps into your energy. That's what's transferred. And so I know by holding the belief that this is possible, that this work works, that you have intuition, that you can have these tools, that, you know, that everything that's happening in your life is part of a bigger plan. By holding that, I am helping to broadcast that out.
Yeah.
And that
And you had mentioned, when we first met that, like, I had cold reached out to you on Instagram, and you were like, "I don't know, I just kinda, like, felt a desire to I felt this, like, pull to reach back to you." Do you generally get a sense for if somebody is ready to do the work, and, like, do you kind of push them into the direction of, like, maybe you're not ready for this"?
I mean, I intuitively test any clients that I take on. And
Yeah.
I understand what their willingness to do the work, how much their human self wants them to do their work, where their, you know, like, where's their higher self? Where's their human self? Like, I have a
Mhm.
client, and it's funny. Everything told me not to take her on. But then her higher self was like, you have to take her on. Like, her human self's not ready, but you have the skills and you have the communication to be able to get through to her. And I mean, we are still very much like working through it. It's a really long journey, but she's like, I don't know why I keep enrolling in these things. And she's like, but I keep coming back to everything that you teach me. And she's like, anytime I need to learn something, like, I come back to you. And so we're building on it over and over and over again. And so for you, it was like, oh, do I reach out to this? Like, like, I just intuitively test, like, this is going to be in my greater good to reach out. And I got, like, essentially, if I can get a 98%, I say yes. Right. And then I always check with my human self and my higher self. So, like, I will be happy in 6 months that I had reached out to Jackie. 98%. Yes. Human self. I'll be happy. 98%. Yes. And then those are like feelings in my body. So as I'm saying
Mhm.
statements, I have trained my body and my intuition to respond with an answer. And so that's when you're like, what do you mean 98%? Like, so I have feelings in my body, or things that I hear, things that I see, whatever it may be, that's my intuition responding back to me with the answer.
Mhm. Like a yes or a no kinda thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, or I like to get it down. I like to get it down to like a scientific percentage. So, like, being accurate to a certain percentage. So, like, what are my happiness levels if I do this one thing? And what is the ROI on this investment? Right? Like,
Mhm.
I can get to those. I have trained my intuition, and I have statements that I say that get me to what, is this a good investment? Right? Like, selling the house. That was a very extensive intuitive read that I did with another intuitive to make sure that, she was checking my emotions, she was double checking my answers. It I do not I do not recommend going out and getting like an entry level intuitive
Yeah.
training course and be like, I'm gonna sell my house. Like,
Yeah.
we went through the entire, we trained for a year together. And we that was something that we tested many different layers on, and we
Mhm.
looked at many different things before we made that, like, where I was like, okay. I told my husband, I was like, he was like, we need to sell. And I was like, I agree, but I want to intuitively check all the boxes to make sure
Mhm.
that we're not doing this from an emotionally imbalanced place.
Right. Mhm. Yeah, that makes total sense. This is a kind of a sidebar question, but do you, follow Amanda Francis?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Did you read her books or book?
I never read her books, but she has a lot. What's your question on her? And I'll tell you my intuitive input on her.
I'm I'm curious if you follow her because you like her stuff, or if you follow her because you find her to be, uh, not I don't know, I'm just curious what you think about her.
So on her, so one of the really cool things that we teach in intuition is how to test the source accuracy of information. And so testing so when I'm pulling in information, I want it to be like source truth, not
Mhm.
someone's experience, but the source truth. Like, this is like when source created everything, this was the manual for how to become wealthy. This is the manual of how to live a fulfilling life, or whatever, the manual for fill in the blank. And so a lot of times what you see is when you find these coaches out there who have these huge accomplishments, and they're like, I'm the money queen, or I manifested all of this money. And you're like, okay, great. What's the blueprint? And she gives you, or they, not just Amanda,
Yeah.
she's not the only person who does this, or this has happened, but like, they're like, this was the exact blueprint, right? And a lot of the information in there. So I tested the accuracy um, of it, and her, um, it's not Money Queen. It's not the,
Mhm.
what
Well, the
is
name of her book is Rich as Fuck.
Rich as Fuck. Yes. I was like, that's not it. So the source accuracy of her book is 38%. And then the remaining, what is it, 62%? I'm not very good with math, but is her own personal experience, which means it was in her soul plan to have that level of wealth, to have that visibility, to have all of those experiences so that she could learn larger lessons in life. And I've looked into
Interesting.
exactly what some of her lessons are, and they are rooted around self love and self image. Her self love and self image levels, whether she chooses to believe it or not, are a little lower
Mhm.
because she thinks that the money, like, she has this ability to create all of those things, and all of those external things is what gives her internal validation. And she's still running from
Mhm.
an incomplete manifestation script.
Mhm. Who is somebody that you mentioned, somebody that you like, that the manifestation babe, who are her, and who are some other people that you think are running at like a higher percentage of actual manifestation?
So I think is it Margot Miller? I think
I
Margot.
don't know. I don't know anybody in this field really. I like listen, the only reason I know Amanda Francis is because I watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and
Oh,
I am a
it was
glutton for Real Housewives.
I know exactly. Yeah, Margot Miller. I was like, I know her name's Margot, but I was like, why can't I remember what her last name?
Yeah.
Margot Miller is great. My mentor, Allie Nympho Peters, she's very raw. She's very accurate. I love her. And then there's a lot of people in her community that she follows. I can send you some of their, I know a lot of their first names, but like their Instagram handles, I'm
Yeah.
just versed on those, but they, they're going to teach from, again, from like that source truth accuracy.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. Yeah, I wanna do, like, part of the follow-up on this, and, like, I wanna again, I'm gonna get ask more questions here, but I wanna give people actually, like, things to, like, look into, to do their own research and decide kind of, like, how they wanna engage in this work. So, what are some signs that, your intuition is, like, trying to get your attention, if that's even really a thing?
yeah, no, it's 1000% a
Okay,
thing.
great.
And it's reflections. So
You
there's
mentioned this before, yeah.
right. So there's a universal law. It's called the law of soul balance. And what that means is you have 8 areas of life. It's physical, mental, spiritual, family, social, passion, hobby, vocation, and financial. And so that like encompasses your whole life, right? Everything can fit into one of those buckets.
Mhm.
And the law of soul balance says that when one of those is essentially below about 60, from like 68 to 64% in its fullness, its balance, then it will create reflections. And
Mm.
reflections are essentially just people, situations, circumstances, events in your life that are designed to get your attention, to let you know that you have an imbalance and you need to shift. And the thing about reflections is where that person, that situation, that circumstance shows up is never really where the problem or the imbalance is.
Mhm.
It's going to show up in an area of your life that you prioritize over all of the other ones, because we all have an area that we're prioritizing higher. For me, My top two areas are family and vocation. And vocation has a little caveat. It's not your 9 to 5. It is your soul pull career.
Right.
So, I have a lot of reflections that show up in my family area of life because it knows that it can get my attention. I have a lot of reflections that show up in my business because it knows that I value that so much more. And some
Mhm.
of those things might be, my husband and my son fighting, or like I got a call yesterday that my son apparently has been bullying this other kid at school. Mm,
Oh,
I know, but it's like, but that's a reflection on for my husband and I, right? Because he's not quite his creator field hasn't been formulated yet fully.
yeah.
It's getting there. But so really diving into that, that was something that my husband and I did last night. Like, we have to get to the root of what this reflection is. Is it yours? Is it mine? What do we need to shift? Right.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
like it was mine. And it was around my 9 to 5, and like feeling like I couldn't use my authentic voice, and feeling like I was like bullying people into my beliefs. Felt like,
Interesting.
yeah. And so we did some shifts, did some things that's like, no, I have the ability to effectively communicate my position and be firm in it, and still be able to make an impact there, right? That
Mhm.
I don't need to pressure people into my point of view. I need to accept them for where they are.
Yep. Yep.
So being able to decode those reflections, right? That's something that we do teach in intuition and unstoppable you, and definitely something that we dive in private lesson or private sessions. Uh, but
Yeah.
that skill right there, that will transform your life, because you're just like, everything that happens to you, you're like, oh, this is a reflection. What's it trying to teach me? Okay, I need to shift this. Like, your brain is like, literally, it's like,
Mhm.
do.
I know. Okay, so next time I have a moment like this, I'm gonna have to get your cell phone number so I can text you and be like, "What is this trying to tell me?"
Yeah.
Because there's some bigger message here, which is I'm like already reflecting back on the morning with my daughter again is like it's a whole other thing, but I just realized my light was completely off. Okay. So do you recommend journaling, meditation, body awareness, like therapy, walking? What other practices um or things do you recommend for women who need to hear themselves more clearly?
So I'm not your like typical spiritual woo-woo person. I don't
Love that.
really believe in journaling. I mean,
Oh,
a time and place to journal, but I don't think journaling is going to solve your problems. I also There's a lot of things in the spiritual world that have been infiltrated by dark forces, because they know, like, oh, this is what everyone's doing. We can infiltrate this. And they're so oblivious to it that we can make them think that this is clearing them or this is helping them. But really, we're just seeping deeper and deeper into them. So
interesting.
that is my top things that I recommend to my clients and that I do myself. Obviously, I practice my daily energetic hygiene. So that's doing my energy recoveries, doing my daily energy boost. I shield myself. I have a 6-layer shield that I put on not only myself, but I put on my husband, my children, and my home. And I pull out all of our weaknesses that make us susceptible to dark forces. So I do that every single day. And then I'm checking us all for dark forces, clearing us.
Hmm.
And then I'm also encouraging, like, I do a lot of somatic movement.
Mhm.
We all hold our energy. And when you can learn how to where you hold it and how to release it. So you have to release it. And then once you release it, you have to call in the energy that you're wanting to carry. So I have, different Spotify playlists that I if I'm angry or if I'm sad or if I'm like really wanting to like pull out the emotion, like getting it all out. And then I have a playlist that I listen to whenever I want to like embody it. Like
Hmm.
the excuse me, sorry. For Rihanna's Bitch Better Have My Money, like when that song comes on, that's my activation song. Like when it comes on, I'm like, this is my energy, this is my vibe, like this,
Interesting.
this is who I am. Uh and so that's like I play that song probably every single day.
I love that. That's awesome. I need to listen to more music. I love music, but I find myself listening to podcasts, listening to books. Like
Mhm.
I'm just in this like growth era of like consume all the things, which is
Right.
also what has like put me into this paralysis of doing the things. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, finally, like I'm doing the thing now. So I feel much more at peace
Mhm.
right now, like with where I'm at, and maybe I can start listening to music more. I
Yeah.
love it.
We don't love
Um,
music like all day, every day, but like
well, no, I know, but even just for like to get yourself in a mood, like,
Mhm.
or to get yourself in a mindset, like I just don't even think to do that. Like I put on Joe Dispenza this morning on the way home from dropping the kids off at school because I needed to like bring my
Mhm.
my like brain cadence down to like less than chaos. And
Yeah.
that it did help. But yeah, I mean, it's funny, I am a huge journaling person, and I don't think it's gonna solve all my problems either, but have you ever read or done The Artist's Way book by Julia Cameron?
No, I have not.
Mm,
Is it
mhm, mm. So, it's a book where you do it's kind of like a finding yourself kind of book,
Mhm.
refinding your creative side, your creative self.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should look into it. It's a 12-week program,
Mhm.
and every week you read a chapter, you do the exercises, the activities, and there is foundational work to it. So when I was doing it back in October, November of last year, I found myself looking forward to the next week. Like I couldn't wait to like read the next chapter and do the next activities. And that also is kind of like what awakened me to this, like, to doing something different and finding something that gives me joy outside of my 9 to 5,
Yeah.
which is not a 9 to 5, it's like a 12 to 12. I mean, it's like all day, every day.
I know. I feel you. Yeah.
Anyway.
Really great. I'll give you one more really good activity to do
Yeah.
is writing an angry letter. I mean, the release that you can get from writing an angry letter and then like ripping it up, or if you're in a place where you can burn it, even better. But don't burn your house down. Um, get that disclaimer. But like being able to write down an angry letter and like get all of those, move all of that emotion and just put the pen to paper is
Mhm.
so powerful. And then something that we also do inside of Unstoppable You is we create the Unstoppable You blueprint, which is like everything that you're embodying and you record it and you listen to it every single day. And listening to it, it's like that hearing it and then it just like reinforces it and then reinforcing it again with those emotional ingredients,
Mhm.
those new beliefs. It's just constantly the reinforcement is just like piling on and piling on and your brain is like, okay, I get it. Like new beliefs, and it just unlocks crazy potential.
Is that, like, different from your daily affirmations or whatever?
So
Or is it similar?
affirmations alone don't work, right? Because they're almost like they're step one. It's like you can be like, I'm a money magnet and I attract abundance into my life. And your brain's like, no, you're not, bitch. Like, no,
Mhm.
on. Because it's a prediction machine, right? It's like, no, I have a belief that money is scarce, and I have a belief that there's not enough and that you're not enough, that everything's not enough. And so that's why you can have a statement or you can have an affirmation that I am enough, but you have to follow it up with the emotional connection and giving it a micro moment. Because what that micro moment does is it creates a sensation somewhere in your body that is essentially your nervous system sending a message up to your brain that says, we have a new belief. So let's create a new neural pathway, right? Like, remember that neural pathway we created yesterday? I got more proof. like create more neuroplasticity, lock it in,
Mm,
and
I
so
love that.
affirmations alone they don't work. So that's
Yeah, I mean, I generally agree. So that's why I'm asking, because I want people to understand that, like, if they are into that kind of practice, there's something additive that they should be doing to make it stick. And yeah,
yeah.
I guess what is a small, like, intuition experiment that someone could try for themselves?
Oh, this one's a really good one. So what you want to do is I think it's the balance blonde. She did this on one. She did
Love
it.
her.
Yeah. This is a really, really great. She did it to like test her supplements, which um I do think you need to go a little bit deeper on testing supplements because a lot of them can be dark force infiltrated. But this is a great way. I always like to start off with, when I'm training people on intuition, low risk things like I should have salmon or chicken for dinner, or I should go to Chipotle or Chick-fil-A. Like n- not like low stakes, right? And so what you want to do is if you're in a position where you can like set your camera up, your phone, and record yourself, this is helpful too. But you'll stand up straight and you'll ask yourself, or you'll say a statement. So like, I should eat salmon for dinner. And when you say it, if you lean forward, then it's a yes. But if you lean back, it's a no. And so sometimes the lean is so subtle that you don't feel it. But if you can stand still, and I always tell people, you could do some source channel breathing to get into the state, which is you inhale for 8, or sorry, inhale for 6, hold for 2, and then exhale for 8. And as you're doing that, say to yourself, only source and light are here, only source and light have the answer. And just do that like 2 to 3 times, and then you can say the statement. A thing that a misconception is that you're asking a question, but really what you want to do is say a statement that's like
Hmm.
a positive yes or no, right?
Yeah.
And so when you say like, and to test it, you can do like an obvious no. Like in my training, the obvious no is like doing heroin every day is good for me. Like we know that's a hard no, right? We
Hmm.
know that's not good for you.
Right.
No,
Exactly.
but the point of it is because you know it's a no, you need to feel your body sway back, right? And then like drinking 8 ounces of water or more a day is good for me, like leaning forward. And so
Hmm.
like feeling when you say those statements and leaning forward or back, it, that gives you the confidence to be able to.
I love that. I'm
Mm,
gonna try that tonight.
okay.
Can I do, like, I will be a billionaire?
I wouldn't start off there.
Oh, okay, right. You said to start small.
Because well, if you're going to be a billionaire, we would want to look at your soul plan, um,
Mm,
to see, okay, is it in your soul plan to be a billionaire? And like it is, like it's in we would again say the statement, it's in Jackie's soul plan to be a billionaire. And if you get a yes or no, then you can kind of go from there. So like if it is a no, then maybe it's like, it's, Jackie's lifetime net worth is $500 million, or
yeah.
you can get to the exact number.
Really?
Hmm.
Damn. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. We gotta do some real work together, you and I. I really wanna, like, dig into this. So, okay, let's try to sum everything up from this, like, actionable tips, things people can do, into some sort of framework if we can. If someone was ready to start following their intuition
Hmm.
and wanted to either work with an intuitive coach or guide, or try to explore the realm on their own, what would those, like, 5 steps be that you would suggest they follow? And can you walk us through whether it's 4 or 5, whatever you want? Um,
Yeah. So the first thing you want to do is your energetic hygiene. So that's making sure that you're clean and clear, and having those daily energetic practices so that you know that your energy is super clear and super clean, because we want to make sure that whatever, when you go to step 2, which is starting to intuit information and call it in, that it's not infiltrated from dark forces, that you're not carrying anyone else's energy that could potentially sway or influence what you're receiving. And then 2, checking your emotional state, because when you're highly emotional, That's not your intuition, right? That is your emotions or your ego overriding your intuition. So you
Mhm.
need to be in this very calm. Essentially, it's your emotional state needs to be around like no more than 16%. So if you're checking your emotional levels, like we talked about earlier, getting into that 16% or lower, because that's when your intuition can fully speak to you.
And how
And
do people do that? Like, what are the ways for people to check their energetic hygiene?
so it's really just a step-by-step process, and with it's included intuitive foundations is your
Okay.
daily energy recovery as well as the the energetic boost where we connect your we strengthen and restore your connection to your intuition. We also repair your pineal gland every single day, which there are so many things in the world that is designed to calcify your pineal gland. And that's what keeps your intuition like handicapped, if you will, or just not at its fullest capability. We restore your aura. We call back all the missing pieces of your chakra. We shield yourself. We boost your energy. It's all in there. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
and
So it's in your program. It's not like these are kind of not secret sauce, but they are actual practices that
yeah,
you've learned that you teach other people.
yeah.
Okay.
And actually, if you go follow me on Instagram, I get the daily energy recovery out as a free follow.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool. Okay.
you can
Okay.
get that on
Okay.
there.
So that's step 1.
Yep.
Step 2.
So step 2 is gonna be learning your intuition communication, right? So that the swaying, yes, back and forth. What also we teach 3 other techniques inside of intuitive foundations. So it's feeling the yes or no's in your body. So again, you can use that same, obvious no and obvious yes answers to see where you feel the yes or no in your body.
Okay.
Then you need to ask those clean statements. So you don't want to, you know, ask like, should I change my career? Or like, I should change my career. I'm going to be a billionaire, right? Like it's the more precise or what we call filters that you can put on your statements, the clearer, more precise answers you can get. And then this is the most important one, I think, of all of them besides energetic hygiene, but you have to trust what's coming in. The very first thing that you get, just trust that it's true. And don't let your ego or your mind or your brain start to manipulate it. If you got a yes, it's a yes. Like trust it, and if you need to, don't re-ask and reaffirm if it's not an answer you wanted or you're second guessing.
Mhm.
Trust that if it's a yes, it's a yes. But if you need to follow a vein and go deeper, that's fine. So if you're like, I should, I'm meant to be in my soul pool career fully in 2026, and I get a yes, then I can go a little deeper to say, I can maybe go to get the timeline to say, like, okay, it is in my soul plan to be in my soul pool career by August of 2026.
Gotcha.
So it's not, you're not questioning, you're just deepening the knowing
Mhm.
clarity.
Okay.
Then the final one is again like building that evidence and reinforcing the belief and the trust between your intuition. So all of my intuition students get the ingredient, all of the ways my intuition is always spot on. And every day they clock. We have a joke. I want to get them all like water cups that say clock it.
I love that.
Because in our community, it's like, hey D, clock it. Your read last night was spot on. And we're like, clock it. I did this and it was like it worked, it did the trick. So you need all of that proof, those micro moments to reinforce that you trust your intuition. That like, yes, you followed the information, you took the first hit, you dug a little deeper, you got exactly what you needed for yourself or for your client or whoever you're practicing on, and you gave it to them and they actioned it and it was spot on.
Mhm. Wow. It's amazing. I love this. So, just like another kind of, I probably should have asked this earlier, but like when you think about intuition, right? Like I use a lot of intuition in making decisions at work because I kind of just listen to my gut. Like what is my gut telling me? This is different from that in a way, right? Like is this different
Oh,
from that?
no.
It's not. Oh, it is that.
Oh, it's
Okay.
100% your intuition.
Okay. Okay. So
You're like,
your gut and like the way that something is registering in your body
mhm.
is actually okay.
Yeah. So like
Okay.
corporate defines it as like trust your gut or like read the room or like anticipate the
Mhm.
questions, like that's, and those are the words that I use when I'm using my intuition, like to make presentations or to like lead a conversation. And then like reinforcing, like whether they realize it or not, I'm trying to create a new belief system in my organization that they have all
Mhm.
of the like tools and skills that they need to be successful, that that their partnerships, that people trust them, that they can trust themselves. And so like I'm constantly reinforcing those beliefs by like proving to them, like if there's ever a time where like, well, so and so's, they always make it so challenging. I'm like, well, what about that time that they did A, B, C, D? And they're like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. And like go back and ask them again.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, that could be a whole episode itself in like how to help people embed intuitive guidance into their day-to-day working life because everybody always wants the data and that they this and that, but like your intuition can actually drive data too, it sounds
yeah,
like. Yeah.
yes, yeah. Like
Yeah, so interesting. Okay.
mind ninja.
We
When we mind ninja someone into something.
Ooh,
Hmm.
I like that. Yeah. Okay, so there were submissions from listeners on current problems or situations that they're in where they um, are looking for guidance or direction. And I'm curious your thought on this. So, this person said they feel like my intuition is telling me it's time to make a change, but the financial side terrifies me. I have a mortgage, bills, responsibilities, and people who depend on me. I keep hearing stories about women who quit their jobs, sell everything, completely reinvent their lives, but that's just not realistic for me. At the same time, staying exactly where I am feels like I'm slowly ignoring myself. I don't want to make a reckless decision, but I also don't want to stay stuck for another 5 years because I was too scared to move. How do I honor what I'm feeling while also remaining responsible and grounded? Do you have thoughts?
Oh yes, this I'm like, did I submit this question? This feels like this feels like me. I did not, but so, two things. Like, one, are you really ready to take the radical responsibility? Are you ready to do the work? You do not need to blow your life up, but you do have to be willing to put in the effort to make the change. And it starts with understanding the beliefs that are running and creating new ones. Your circumstances and the situation that you're in, you have the ability to change it when you have the right tools. So for this specific, let's see, for this specific client or for caller, audience
Listener.
listener, I'm like, what do we call it? This specific listener, what let's get you, I love to give someone a tool that they can use to be able to go and start to implement it and make shifts. So, what I want you to do is if you, let's see, I want to know if she understands or he or she understands what their soul pool is. So, I'm getting a very low percentage, like 5% that you understand what your soul pool is. So, I want you to help discover that soul pool. So, I want you to be able to say, okay, step one, what are some experiences that you have had where people constantly come to you for advice? Like what are you the go-to friend for? What are you the go-to employee for? What do you feel like are just your natural strengths that you have? List those out, list at least 3. And then I want you to go through and ask yourself, what experiences have you had in life? Because typically what happens is when you're a coach and you're going out there, the experiences that you've had in your life that you would quote unquote define as trauma, and trauma is everyone has a different level of trauma.
Hmm.
But something where it has transformed your life and you've learned lessons. I want you to say, like, list some of those out. What are some of those things that have happened to you that you can say has changed your life. And then what
Mhm.
I want you to do is I want you to take, how has those things that have come natural to you and those top transformations slash traumas that you've experienced, how have they shaped you into the person that you are today? And once you have that, once you use the time to kind of reflect on that, then that will teach you, that will show you exactly where your soul pull is and where you need to lean into it. And then pour yourself into that. It is going to be hard, but whether it's on your lunch break or in the hours between, you know,
Yeah.
time and midnight, develop that. How do you want to help people? Who do you want to help? How do you want to transform their life? How will you deliver it to them? Start putting your thoughts on paper and creating a framework, and then just start sharing it with people.
Amazing. Yeah, I love that. All right. We're gonna wrap this thing up. So let's bring it back to like the heart of what this is about. I want to leave listeners with something clear to think about. We've given them a lot to think about, but after they finish listening, um, like if they leave with one thing to think about on second thought, like a second thought that um yeah, if it's just one thing to think about, what do you hope that is?
That you are the creator of your life. You have the tools to completely transform your life. You have access to them. You just have to believe that you are capable of it, and you are.
Yes, you are. I yes, you are. The fact that I mean, like, that we're sitting here right now and having this conversation is, like, proof of that. I love this.
Yeah.
Um, okay, what would you say to the woman who knows something is off but keeps convincing herself that she should be fine because like, everything's fine and life is good and, like, life on paper looks really good too?
Well, that's your ego. That's your ego keeping you comfortable, but nothing extraordinary happens in your comfort zone. It all happens on the outer edges or way far out of your comfort zone. So if you want a life where you feel comfortable and unchallenged, that is totally fine. That is your prerogative. That is your life. That is your plan. And I hope all the best for you. But if you want to get really uncomfortable, let's fucking go. I got you.
Yes. Yes. Okay, 2 more questions. What is there anything else that you would wanna share? I mean, we've talked about so much, but, like, is there anything that we didn't cover that you wish you wanted to say or wanted to share?
That we all have our own path and our own journey. And don't look at me, don't look at you and be like, "Oh my gosh, I need to like I can't get where they're at," or "I need to get where they're at." You need to get what feels right for you.
Mhm.
We are 1 in 8 billion special. We all are uniquely our own, and source made us all perfect in our own right. And so discover your perfection. Discover what makes you uniquely you, and that will set you apart from everything and everyone else out there and give you the roadmap for fulfillment in life.
Where I have your links that you sent me, but share where listeners can go to learn more, connect, follow your work,
Yeah, so
work with you.
yeah. So the link down in the show notes will be to my Start Here landing page. And so this has my three main services, which is going to be intuitive foundations. This is a great way to get in, train your intuition, $97, less than 4 hours. You're in and out, and you have your energetic hygiene, a lot of really great core, like intuitive foundation information. There's three, and there will be four techniques in there. I'm looking to add some more as I continue to evolve my intuition. And and then there's also how to have a private session with me. So that's 75 minutes. We do, again, we've kind of gone over what that is and everything entails. But if you click on that link, it'll give you everything in there. And then there's Unstoppable You, which is my self image program that really helps you it's designed really, it's for anyone, but I think it's with the corporate girly in mind, who has been chasing the external validation their entire life and one day woke up and was like, holy shit, what am I doing? This isn't right. And it's the tools to help create that awareness and to shift those beliefs so that you can increase your self image and call in what you're truly meant for in life. Yep. And then there's
Thank
also
you.
my Instagram too.
Yeah.
That you can follow me on Instagram. That's my main platform. That's what I'm always on every day. So you can go on there, follow me, DM me. I'm a one woman show. So when you reach out to me, it's me that you're getting back.
Not an AI bot, hopefully.
No, I do have some mini chats set up, but I have it set up to where, it kind of gets you flowing and then I can step in.
I'm like, I'm obviously will be using ManyChat at some point. This is like a sidebar, but um, I get so frustrated with them because I know that it's AI and I'm like, how do I outsmart the AI? I'm like trying to outsmart ManyChat sometimes. Like, anyway, but and your Instagram is at melaniewatson.co. Is
Correct.
that right?
Yep.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
great.
And that's my website
Okay,
too. You can find me at melaniewatson.co as well.
amazing. Okay, well, thank you, Melanie, so much for being a part of this conversation. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of learning in here, and I hope that people like really listen and do something with this information because I think that it can resonate. It will resonate, and it could be super transformative for people
Yeah.
if they're in kind of like an in between liminal space in their life. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm really excited to share this with everyone. And everyone listening, make sure you follow On Second Thought, make sure you follow Melanie, and make sure that you share this with someone who is questioning whether or not they want to learn more about their intuition and like what they want to do with their life.
Right.
So thank you, Melanie.